My name is Zaria Monroe, and I used to believe in fairy tales. I believed in love strong enough to endure poverty, race, class, and all the mess life threw at you. I believed that if you held someone down through their worst, they'd be there to lift you up when it was your turn to shine. But then I met Andrew Whitaker, and he taught me that some men only love you as long as you're beneath them. And he taught me that some men don't fall in love with you. They fall in love with how you fit into their plan. We met at Georgia State. I was a pre-law student with a cracked laptop, 2 part-time jobs, and a mother slowly fading in a hospital bed across town. He was the golden boy of the economics department, tall, ivy white, born into money but pretending to hate it. I was sitting on the library steps one fall evening, tapping notes with aching fingers and a head full of contracts and case law. "You studying for world domination?" he asked, "or just trying not to drown?" I looked up wary but amused. "Why can't it be both?" He smiled, that half-cocky, half-curious smile that would disarm anyone not trained by grief. He was charming, kind in public, generous with compliments, and always just broken enough to make you feel needed. He talked about his father like a villain in a Southern novel, said he wanted to build something different, something real. He said I was the first woman who challenged him, that I made him feel seen. I should have known then. Men like Andrew romanticize struggle until they have to actually live through it. We dated all through college. I edited his papers, coached him through family dinners, helped pitch him to firms that didn't even look at my resume. I knew how to navigate his world, to straighten my hair, to silence my anger, to wear the kind of softness they find palatable. I graduated top of my class with no offers. He graduated with a 6-figure job. Thanks to a recommendation I ghost wrote for his mentor, when his father pressured him to appear grounded. A stable adult, he panicked. So he proposed. No ring, no roses, just a rushed conversation in a parked car. "If I marry you," he said, "they'll take me seriously. It'll prove I'm not just riding the family name." And like a fool chasing hope, I said yes. We moved into a sleek condo his parents paid for. Polished floors, staged bookshelves, cold air that never felt like home. I worked pro bono at a nonprofit legal clinic, handling evictions and elder abuse. He slipped into boardrooms, private golf clubs, and wine tastings I was never quite fitting enough for. The changes came slow. "Z, can you not wear those earrings tonight? My dad's clients are kinda old school. Maybe just a nude lipstick? You look gorgeous. I just don't want to draw attention. And then, I love how passionate you are about justice. But maybe don't mention police brutality at the gala, yeah?" At first I rationalized it. The world was cruel, he was protecting me. Then I realized he wasn't protecting me. He was protecting his image. He wanted the parts of me that helped him grow, not the parts that made people uncomfortable, not the parts that made me me. And then came Charlotte. She was everything I wasn't. Daughter of a senator. Yale graduate, polished and poised. Her existence was tailored. Even her laugh sounded like it had a resume. She met me once, extended a hand with a condescending grin and said, "You work in community law, right? That's adorable." She called our condo Brave. I laughed. Andrew didn't. And a month later, I found a message on his phone. "Last night was perfect. The wine, your mouth, your hands, us. From Charlotte." When I confronted him, he didn't lie. "Zaria, listen. This world, my world, it doesn't reward love. It rewards alignment, strategy. So I was your strategy? You helped me get here. But we're not going the same direction anymore." I stood in that sterile kitchen, barefoot, heart-pounding, staring at the man I once thought I'd grow old with. "You don't belong in my world," he said, softly, like he thought it would hurt less that way. That night, I packed 2 suitcases and walked out. I didn't take the furniture. I didn't take the ring. I took my dignity. I had no job. No savings. No backup plan. Just me and my pain, crawling back to my mother's 2-bedroom apartment in South Fulton. She was weaker now, could barely hold herself up, but she held me when I collapsed. "Baby," she whispered, brushing my tears away. "This ain't the end. This is the fire that makes steel." I didn't want to hear it, but I needed to believe it. So I started over. I took every freelance legal case I could find. Probate battles, renter abuse, racial discrimination claims that no one wanted to touch. The work was exhausting. The pay was insulting. But the people? They reminded me why I became a lawyer in the first place. After Mama passed, I used the small life insurance payout to rent a dusty, windowless office. bought a used desk off Craigslist, called it Monroe Legal Services. For a year, I lived on noodles, commuted by bus, and kept extra heels in my backpack for court. I lost cases I should have won. I cried in bathroom stalls. I nearly gave up. But then I started winning, and word got out. By year 3, I had an assistant, an office downtown, my own legal team. I was taking on city contracts and class action, suits against companies I used to only read about in the news. And then fate came knocking. Whitaker and Langston, Andrew's father's company, got hit with a massive whistleblower lawsuit. They'd been secretly displacing black homeowners in South Atlanta through predatory development deals. Guess who was named in the complaint? Charlotte's father. Andrew, too. Not as the mastermind, just as the guy who signed the paperwork. The firm crumbled. And then my phone rang. "This is the Atlanta Legal Reform Coalition," the voice said. "Your name came up more than once. We'd like you to join the plaintiff's legal team." I said yes. The case was huge. 42 plaintiffs, stolen homes, millions at stake. Generations of black wealth erased. I worked day and night. Interviews, depositions, media pressure. 3 months in, I walked into a pretrial conference, and there he was. Andrew, sitting alone, in a wrinkled suit, behind a stack of defense documents. He looked like someone who had been trying to disappear, shoulders slumped, eyes empty, that arrogance gone. Our eyes met. He looked away first. After the meeting, he pulled me aside. "Zaria, I didn't know you'd be here." I shrugged. "I'm everywhere you never thought I'd be." "You look powerful." I smiled. "And you look unemployed." He chuckled nervously. "Charlotte left soon as the scandal broke. Guess she liked power more than love." I raised an eyebrow. "So did you." He tried again. "I never forgot you. I still think about what we..." "Don't," I cut him off. "You didn't lose me. You threw me away." He opened his mouth, closed it. That was the moment he realized there was no redemption arc here. Only truth. 6 months later, we won the case. $14.3 million in damages. 42 families got justice. And I got my name on the front page of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. At the victory celebration, I stood before cameras, microphones, and clients whose faces reminded me of my mother, my neighbors, myself. "This isn't about revenge," I said. "This is about resilience. About what happens when you underestimate the power of a black woman with nothing left to lose." Andrew emailed me weeks later. Subject line: "Just coffee?" No message body. Just the quiet desperation of a man who finally saw what he walked away from. I never replied. Because I'd learned something. Revenge is watching the man who betrayed you fall. Justice is building a life so high he can't reach it anymore. Peace is realizing you never needed him in the first place. Now, I mentor black girls in law school. I sit on the board of the same nonprofit I once begged to hire me. I fund scholarships in my mother's name. I fight for those whose voices were silenced. And every night, when I turn off the lights in my downtown office and see Zaria Monroe, Eskern glowing in gold letters on the glass, I smile. Not because I proved him wrong, but because I wrote a new fairy tale. One where the princess doesn't get saved. She saves herself.